Hey amigos, what's happening? I don't know if I'm going to upload this, what I'm recording right now, because this is so random, I don't even have a plan. But this is what I've been doing, in case you've been wondering. I've got a new set of exhaust on this bike, just some plain old cheap drag pipes. Only because I did not want to, go all out as far as exhaust. In fact, these are the kind of pipes that was on the Tramp before it got chopped, except they weren't that nice looking. But I got these pipes on here, and also I've decided that what I'm going to do as far as ignition. I was looking on eBay at Evo ignitions or aftermarket ignitions, and I decided I didn't want to spend so much on another ignition. So I thought to myself, well, I do have another ignition in here. I got that Dyna S ignition with the coil and the pickup. And I thought, well, maybe I can pull that Ultima ignition out of the shovel head, and put it in this bike, and then go ahead and put that Dyna S ignition in the shovel head, because what I've heard about those Dyna S ignitions, the Dynatechs, that they make shovel heads pretty much a one-kick shovel. But then the more I thought about it, as much trouble, or, not trouble, but, school of hard knocks that this thing has put me through as far as getting to know it, and I finally got it dialed in. I really don't want to mess with that. It's running fine just the way it is now, but I don't want to waste that Dyna S on this bike. I mean, it's not a waste, but basically I'm saving it for whenever the Ultima goes out on that shovel, like one day if it ever does, or if I find another special occasion. But I didn't really want to put it in this bike right here, so this is what I did. I decided to use what I've already got. Yep, that's right. Went ahead and put a set of points in there. And that's what's so cool about Evos, is it's the last engine that Harley Davidson ever produced that you can run points in if you ever wanted to. Most people don't want to, and I don't blame you guys for not wanting to. I mean, why fool with something that's mechanical and got more parts that move and that sometimes fail, instead of a single one-unit ignition system that will always run until it don't work anymore, right? But, if you always have a set of points on you, you can just, you get the idea. But this is what I'm doing now. I've got the primary cover off of this motor, and I'm putting a different clutch cable on because the clutch cable that is in there, or was in there, isn't long enough for these handlebars. In fact, that clutch cable came off of that 02 that I told you guys about, where I got the motor for the Tramp, or the second motor for the Tramp. Like I said, this was actually the first motor for the Tramp that I built. But I'm doing that. I'm just, doing random stuff to this motorcycle that needs to be done to make it an actual functioning motorcycle. So I think I'm just going to quit yammering my hammer, and I'm going to put this camera down, and I'm going to go ahead and do some more stuff. And I got it in there with a little bit of finagling. I just had to take this arm and go this way, and take this cable and bend it just right to where this connection would slide into there. As you can see, I've already put a little bit of a bend in the cable, but that's not going to hurt it at all. So, it's not going to affect how it's going to function. It's not damaged by any means. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this primary cover on and see what else I'm going to do to this motorcycle. Okay, check it out. The missus came in. Isn't that cool? So I don't have to worry about getting all this footage, because she's now got the job.
I have the power. Not really.
much better. Apparently I was missing a few steps here and there. One of them was, all right, I'm going to cut this footage right here and put this in instead because I gave some really lousy description of what I did. But anyway, what I really did was that I made sure I had all the slack available in the throwout bearing, and the way that I did that is that I had my adjustment cable, my clutch cable, adjusted to where I had all the slack available in it, and made sure that the handle was all the way out. That way I knew that my throwout bearing was all the way out, that is, had all the adjustment possible. Being that was so, then I ran my adjustment screw forward until I barely felt it touch off on the pressure plate, and then I backed it off a quarter of a turn, and then I locked it down, so I got my adjustment locked down with the lock nut that's in the primary, and then I made my adjustment at the clutch cable and made sure I had about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a 1/16, maybe an 1/8, of slack in the clutch handle. And then all of a sudden, abracadabra. So that's pretty cool. So I don't know what's next. Hey amigos, I don't know what this footage is here, but we're just not even at the garage no more. We're at Wes's garage. They don't know we're filming at the moment. You might have seen these guys. This is Termite Off-Road, and this is, I don't know who this guy is because he cut his hair.
Yeah.
And he shaved his goatee too.
Yep.
Yeah. Country Coder. These guys are trying to make a drivetrain fit in a vehicle it wasn't designed for, but it's going to work, just like choppers, right?
Like over there?
Poor Andrea.
Yeah, there's a girl under there somewhere.
Yeah.
A woman.
She's doing the heavy lifting from below.
Yeah, start taking notes, okay? That ain't quite like holding handlebars out of the way.
So where are we?
We're in downtown Collins, and that gas station right there, last time I was here, I broke down at that gas station in my old 82 van. It turned out to be the ignition unit. And I walked down the road to the Napa store down there, and they stole me the wrong unit.
Oh no.
And I was talking about a bad day, and I didn't know it was the wrong unit, so I had to get towed to a shop to get fixed. So what's my point? Well, the last time I was in a Ford Econoline in Collins, Mississippi, I broke down. Let's hope it don't happen up here at Ward's.
Too funny. Okay, so where are we now?
We're coming into Ward's. Wes and Andrea is taking us to the bestest restaurant on the entire planet. You got some restaurants that are like, home cooking. Well, this is more like, school cafeteria food cooking. This should make me feel like I'm 12 years old all over again.
What did you get?
I got a cheeseburger with chili on it and fries.
The big one?
That's what they say. Well, I feel like I'm 15 all over again. Like I just got out of lunch and I'm going back to class. And we're going to learn how to put a Hemi in. All right, it's been several days later. Sorry to keep you guys hanging for so long. Life is, and reality is, what it is. But check it out. I didn't do a whole lot of filming at all with this motorcycle, but I just wanted to get it done. A lot of concentration had to go towards what I'm going to do here. And, I never built a stock bike before, but since you guys have seen this last, I've had the carburetor off, and I have taken like 4 different carburetors, partial ones that is. I made one whole carburetor. So I have a CV carburetor already hooked up here. And as I said earlier, I got points and condenser in here simply because I just didn't feel like spending any more money on motorcycle parts. As I was digging through my cables and stuff, I found a choke cable. Pretty cool. Did all my wiring, all the wiring's hooked up. Check it out. I got tail light. We've got brake light.
Ooh.
We got low beam. We've got high beam. And we got power to the ignition. I've got oil in the oil bag. I've got primary fluid in here. And I've done so much that I don't remember what else I'm not remembering to remember. I just put gasoline in the tank. And this is going to be the moment if it's, I don't know, but I think I got it to where it might run. So let's see if it'll run, you know. Oh yeah, I got plugs, plug wires, everything. I've heard that you're not supposed to run electronic ignition coils with points, or coils that are supposed to go at points with electronic ignition. I don't know. I got spark down there at the points, so I'm assuming there's spark going to the spark plugs. So let's turn the gas on. Ignition is on. Pull the choke. There goes nothing. Well, wow, this is cool. It's actually a running bike. And it's not like a bike that's been broke down forever, but it's a freaking motorcycle that never came into existence until now. And it's running down the road, and let's hope that I don't get seen by the fuzz, because I don't even have this thing registered yet. So by default, there's no tag on the back, and God knows what other ticket I might get. But man, it still has plenty of get up and go. This is pretty cool. It feels just like a bicycle too. It's very, very lightweight, and I don't know if it's because it's got points in it, or if I'm just used to a 1200 on the Tramp when it comes to a Sportster. But this thing is not definitely, you know, a powerhouse, but of course not. It's an 883. I'm trying to compare it to a 1200 with electronic ignition and an S&S Super E. It just says what it is for the time it came from. You know, the engine, you know, it's only a 4-speed 883, which is one reason why I swapped the motor out of the Tramp for that 5-speed 1200, which I didn't know was 1200 at the time, but I wanted an extra gear. But this thing feels pretty good already. I mean, I can't believe it. It's actually a running freaking motorcycle. In fact, the engine is still good. I know when I started it up, it had a whole lot of engine noise in the top end. It took a little bit for it to warm up and finally get some oil to the top end, because apparently, I guess when these old motors sit long enough, it seems like they lose their prime as far as oil pressure. But it's a nice, quiet, running motor. Now it is. I mean, other than the exhaust, but I'm talking about engine noise. So I'm not gonna stay on this road or even on the road too much longer, because we do have plenty of Tahoes running around in this area, you know, sheriff Tahoes, and I really don't want to get, you know, popped. But anyway, got a few other adjustments to make to this thing. Like, I'm not sure if I have the timing just right, but, you know, it seems to run okay. Yeah, it's got plenty of takeoff power. It does just fine. Oh man, I'm really liking it. I know that when the Evo came out, it didn't have points, but this thing seems to run just fine with points in it. I'm not quite content with how the carburetor is put together. I got another carburetor bowl coming in the mail that's going to actually fit the carburetor body that I want to use. I believe this carburetor is off of a 98. I actually have a 1990 carburetor body sitting in the garage that I want to use. So when that piece comes in, I'm going to go ahead and take all the parts out of this carburetor and put it in that carburetor body. I know it's probably not that big a deal, but it is what it is. But wow, this is so freaking cool. It feels like a bicycle with a freaking engine in it. One other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up a speedometer to this thing. I do have the original speedometer that came on the original Tramp before it got chopped. I need to figure out how it goes together, because I have the speedometer, the bucket that it goes into, and also the bracket that would mount to this. And I have speedometer cables that got the drive bearing down on the wheel. So that might be for another video, who knows. Because I really have no idea how fast I'm going. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm doing like 55 or 60. After all, this motor came out when 55 was the national speed limit, you know, because in 1990 the national speed limit on the interstates was 55, which is why you always had all them cars that had the circle over the number 55 on the speedometer, like it is on my van. But anyway, I know I talk about that a lot. Woo! Made it home. And no tickets. And hopefully, like the next time this thing goes out on the road, it'll be legal. Yeah, this is so freaking cool. Yeah, I don't like that carburetor that's on there. It's acting like it's running lean. Watch this. The idle stays up a little bit, like it's got an intake leak or something. I don't know. Hopefully that piece will come in today and I'll get that taken care of. And I think I smell oil burning. Let's see. Or maybe that's just my imagination. I don't see any oil leaks. So that's pretty cool. Well, there you have it. Another motorcycle that has been put together that runs. I mean, the reason why I'm a little kind of excited about it because I did it. I put it together. But I don't give all the credit to me because every good gift comes from God above. And so he's at least given me enough sense to know how to do that. Not that I'm bragging because I'm not the smartest tool in the shed. And I certainly don't know everything, you know. I pretty much learn as I go along, which is one reason why I didn't film a whole lot of this motorcycle being put together, but I did update you along the way. So here's the update. The Redemption bike has now come into being. I think this thing will eventually run better once that other piece comes in there, because this carburetor was a bit tough to put on because I don't know, I had some alignment issues with that air breather, and that's not the carburetor for that air breather setup. So I think there's some stress somewhere in the intake area that doesn't need to be. That's what it's acting like, you know, when I come to a stop, it's idling and high. So sounds like an intake leak. But anyway, that's that. Maybe that'll be another video, who knows. But as always, guys, I'm going to leave it here with you. Oh, and check out my Patreon if you want to be part of the channel in some kind of way. The link is down below. If you want to see more content, well, you're going to see more content anyway because this is all free. But as I've been putting it, you guys keep the rubber side down and you be good to yourselves. Thanks a lot.